Hey everybody, Kartik Subramaniam over at ADHI Schools. Welcome to our podcast. Wanted to talk really quickly about a question I get a lot, actually. And the question is, hey Kartik, how'd you start teaching these real estate classes? What's the story behind that? Well, when I was going through college, I taught the SATs. And I kind of liked it. I was helping high school students, particularly disadvantaged high school students, because often you'll find with a course like the SAT or a test like the SATs, often you have parents of means that have like a lot of money and they're able and willing to pay, let's say, $2,000, $2,500, $3,500 for an SAT prep class. But what about parents who maybe aren't that wealthy or don't have $3,000 to spend on an SAT prep class for their kids? How are those kids supposed to, make sure they do well on the SATs? That's a very interesting question. Now, today in 2018, it's actually the playing field is slightly more level because you have the internet and you have great YouTube channels like the Khan Academy and all sorts of stuff that basically, if you really want to learn something, you can go online and learn it. In fact, it's funny, I was talking to our audio guy here. He's so talented, knows just intuitively, it seems. And, excuse me, don't worry, he'll make me clear my throat sound like the first Boyz II Men album. That's how good he is. But anyway, and he's self-taught. Even our video guy, Wacko, yes, that's his real name. I don't know. But even our video guy, Wacko, is self-taught. So today in 2018-19, with the internet and tenacity and some focus, you could learn just about anything. But back in the late 90s, when I was teaching, or early 2000s, when I was teaching these classes, you didn't really have that, right? The bandwidth of the internet really wasn't there. You didn't have YouTube around to learn things. So I taught the SATs mainly at underprivileged or lower socioeconomic high schools, right? So which I really, really, really enjoyed. It kind of leveled the playing field a little bit. And when I got my real estate license, there was a office that I was at, and right behind me there was a sign that said real estate school here. So, about 3 weeks had gone by and I was a real estate agent and I hadn't sold anything yet, which 3 weeks is not a long time to not sell anything in real estate, but I'm particularly over-caffeinated and impatient. So I said, you know what, I need a side hustle here. Let me see what I can do. So I called the number, the 800 number, and this man picks up the phone and I said, hey, my name is Kartik. I'm a broker. I have a degree in real estate. I wondered if you needed help, teaching these classes. And the guy goes, yeah, we're always looking for instructors. We kind of had a conversation. I said, just out of curiosity, what does it pay? And he goes, it pays $60 an hour. I said, $16 an hour? I'll take it. And he goes, no, $60 an hour. When he told me that, again, this is 17 years ago, excuse me, when he told me that the pay was $60 an hour, I harassed that man twice a day for like a month. And finally, a month later, he goes, look, Kartik, there's a real estate school that we operate in Norco. If you want to cover that real estate class, you can go ahead and do it. So I reviewed the material and I went and, I'm at the time, I don't know, 21, 22 years old, real young. And I go there, I got my best suit on. Of course, I'm sure it didn't fit too well. I struggled to tie my tie and I went out there and taught the class and I came back. He calls me the next morning, the owner of the school, and he goes, hey, how'd you think you did? I said, oh, I did great. And he goes, really? Because a lot of the students called the school. I said, oh, really? What'd they think? And they said, well, all of them called simultaneously and asked for a refund. He goes, you suck. But he goes, look, I like you. If you're willing to try, there's another class you can take over once a week, but you can never go back to Norco. And I said, that's fine, whatever. And one class turned into 2 classes and turned into 3 classes a week and then 4. And eventually I started this real estate school back in 2003, October of 2003. This is our 15th year in business, and I've been teaching these real estate classes for just a bit longer than that. So the point simply is that it was almost by accident, because if I didn't go to that real estate office and sit in that seat where the sign for real estate school is right behind me, I might not have had a reason. I might not have even known that real estate schools existed. And then now, we have this great real estate school, and we have, Sophia Lopez, who's been our manager since 2005. We have, a bunch of instructors that have been here a long time. Sophia's assistant has been here for 6 years. Even our, so a lot of people around me I've known for a really long time, and I'm blessed to have. I'm not a guy that really likes a lot of change, so I like having, the same group of people around me. It makes, there's some element of stability in that, but that's really how I got into the business. And the guy that mentored me I learned a lot about presentation and presenting styles and humor and levity. I learned so much from him through this process of, watching him teach real estate classes. And, he had been teaching real estate classes for a long, long time. I mean, back in the 70s and 80s, Century 21 was broken up into regions, and he taught all the real estate classes for a huge region of Century 21. So I learned so much from him, and I carry a lot of that with me today. But the point simply is that that's how I got into the real estate school business. So, I was a real estate agent working at a local company, and there was a sign that said real estate school here, and I, kind of dove all in. Now, of course, the problem is I also have a real estate brokerage and the school. I have a marketing company. So, I'm stretched pretty thin most of the time, which is not necessarily good, but it keeps me busy, and I somehow like it that way. But, I would just say that's the story of how I got into, teaching these real estate classes, and it's kind of snowballed into this thing here. But I'd love to, if you're one of our students, I'd love for you to comment below. If you took a class with me, I'd love to reconnect with you. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. If we're not connected on Instagram, I'd love to get to know you on and offline. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It helps me create more content over a period, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.